Simple steps to better life decisions. As someone in the past who made a few poor decisions that actually ended me up in a mental health inpatient hospital, I feel like I have some authority from going from that place to a place now where I make very good decisions and have had 4.0 GPAs both high school and college, reached 100K net worth by 21, and been in an 8-year relationship. So I feel like I've made some good decisions along the way and changed my decision-making process. So in this video, I'm gonna break down a 3-step process that you can use to help yourself make better life decisions that are more in line with your goals and your dreams. The first step to this is going to be to clarify your priorities. You need to understand your core values and identify those. To make decisions, you have to make decisions in line with what you want and who the person you want to be. The best decision for me might not be the best decision for you. For example, my core values are excellence, kindness, growth, and discipline. For others, that may be fun, fairness, family, whatever it may be. So for me to start a business might be a great idea with growth and excellence and things of that nature. Whereas for another person, if they value family and fun, a business might not be in line with those values. So it's important to identify those core values, so then you can make a decision that is best in line with what you want. After you identify those core values, it's then time to rank your priorities within life. So for me, my biggest thing and the most important thing is my one thing. If you haven't read the book, The One Thing, it can be a very good tool to clarify where you want to go. But my one thing is to help people go from victim to victor mindset so they can live a life on their terms. And the way you can think about your priorities is you can identify your one thing, and maybe that's most important to you. My one thing goes over everything. It goes over my relationships. It goes over even my mental health sometimes. That one thing, accomplishing that mission, helping people transition from victor to victor mindset so they can live a life on their terms is my most important priority. And everything after that comes second. But for you, maybe family, maybe your professional life, maybe your health, maybe your resources, maybe those are your most important things. And if you want help identifying your priorities, the balance wheel in the description below can be a helpful tool to do that. After you've ranked your priorities, one final thing you're gonna wanna do over time is revisit and adjust. In the past, I've been like, yes, this is my dream, and this is what I've wanted, but I've had to think and readjust. For me, I went through about a year and a half of just working, and I had to pull my head out of the water and realize okay, I need to realign my purpose. I need to realign my vision and figure out what's most important for me. You've got to make sure that you revisit and adjust this so you don't get too married to the outcome, because you want to make sure it's still in line with your priorities and still in line with your values. And it caused some pretty serious burnout for me because I had drifted away from helping people go from victim to victor. And that's what's so at my heart, because that's what ended up being in the hospital. So for me, it's so important that I help people do that, and I burned out because I wasn't helping people do that. So it's important that you revisit and adjust regularly, and I do this about every year. I create a year visualization, and then I help stay in line within that visualization. So that's the first piece, is to clarify your priorities. The second piece is to make the decisions easier. How do we go about doing this? Well, you want to give yourself a timeline. Analysis paralysis will kill your decisions, because what happens, at least in my past, is that I would try to get all this information and wait for the right time. The thing is, the right time never came. So by doing that, a decision was given to me. By doing nothing, that is a decision, and then a decision will be given to you, which is probably not in line with your goals. So you want to avoid that analysis paralysis, and the way you do this is you give yourself a timeline. So you say, I have a day to think about this decision, or I have a week to think about this decision. So whether it's quitting your job, it's really easy to be like, well, I'll quit it next month. Then next month comes, you're like, well, you just push it out every month. So you want to give yourself a timeline. I will decide by this point. I will decide by X, Y, or Z time frame. So this way you are forced to make a decision based upon your word, and you have to make that decision, and that you don't get caught in analysis paralysis. The second tool you could use to make decisions easier is the 10-10-10 rule. So when you're thinking about a decision, whether it's quitting your job, whether it's ending or starting a relationship, whether it's starting a business, whatever it is, you want to use the 10-10-10 rule. And this rule is, how will you feel making the decision in 10 minutes, 10 months, or 10 years? And that really is a good way to think about, okay, in 10 minutes, I might feel really good about this short-term decision. Maybe it's you hate your job, but it's a problem you can fix, and you're operating off of emotions. In 10 minutes, you might feel really great. In 10 months, you might be a lot more stressed out because this job is giving you an opportunity for 10 years. You know what I mean? So the 10-10 rule can help you think short term, you know, and the kind of that next year as well, and then also 10 years, so that long-term time frame. How would this decision affect that, and how would you feel about it? And one final thing you can do to make decisions easier is consult those that you look up to, and the people that you value their life or their character traits, whatever. So you want to think, who are these people, and do they have my best intent at heart? And you consult those people, and one of the best people to do this, and will always be the best people to do this, is your 80-year-old self. Because your 80-year-old self knows completely who you are and knows completely what you want and has your best interests at heart, and they will always fulfill those three things. So if you could consult your 80-year-old self, the way I do it is every day I do a daily review, and one of my questions is, what would my advice would my 80-year-old self give me? And that's really helpful for me to take myself out of this, take myself out of the emotional mindset that I have, and think of that as a logical way. Or maybe I do need more emotions. Maybe I'm thinking about it too logically and I need more emotions, but my 80-year-old self, when I can take that reframe, I'm able to do that and think in that frame so that I can give myself the best advice possible that is in line with what I want, has my best intent at heart as well. Final piece is going to be to trust your intuition and move forward with the decision. Whatever the decision is, trust what you're feeling and go through with that. Gut feelings are valid feelings. Not that you should make all your decisions about it, and if there's some real logic behind not making that decision, you should not do so. But if you have a gut feeling about something, your subconscious is probably trying to tell you something. If you know you've been at this job too long and you know you need to quit and your gut feeling is you need to get out of here, I would trust your intuition and move forward. At least that's what's worked in my life. When I trust my intuition, I gather all the relevant information, then trust my gut feeling. It's typically right, and it typically leads me down the best path. Now, also with gut feelings, another thing you want to do is learn from past decisions. Have you made a decision that you shouldn't have made? Have you made a decision that you should have made? What factors were involved with, oh, maybe the decision that you shouldn't have made, there was drinking involved, or you're rushed, or you waited too long to make a decision. Okay, learn from those common factors and try to get rid of those factors on the decisions that you shouldn't have made. On the decisions that you should have made, okay, you took the proper time, you gave yourself a timeline, you used the 10-10-10 rule, and you consulted the people closest to you that want the best for you. Okay, do more of that. Look for the common factors when you made your best decisions, and then try to apply that to every decision moving forward. Again, those decisions that I use to make it easier, those are just what I do. They might not work for you. So find common factors that work for you, because it'll then just make your decisions easier, help you move forward quicker. And the third and the final piece within trusting your intuition and moving forward is maybe you made the wrong decision. Maybe you found out, you're like, you know what, Chris, I had this decision and I quit my job and I shouldn't have. You know what the cool part about it is? Number one, I guarantee it won't matter in 10 years. Number two, you'll have a better story to tell. Oh, I had this great job, I quit it, and I started my business and it was a failure, but I still, 5 years from now, I started my next business and it was successful, and you just have a better story as a result. And sometimes also what's really important, at least a little thing that I like to do, is I like to not take myself so seriously, because I know that in 100 years, I'll be dead and everybody around me that I thought cared about me will be dead as well, so it won't matter. And so that's the cool thing for me, is that I know that I just shouldn't take myself as seriously, because in the long run, it probably won't matter. So that's how you go from overwhelmed to confident, and simple steps that you can use to make better decisions. If that was helpful, please leave a comment and I'll make more of these videos. See you guys in the next one.